We live? We live. Check it out. That's that custom made. All Black Everything. Welcome to the channel. Appreciate you for checking it out. Like the content, like it, subscribe, share it. It's a beautiful thing. We just sharing information here. We back. Since I can't get on my Instagram right now, man, I'm doing the learn with me slash pick up the book right here. Communist Manifesto, Karl Marx, Frederick Engles. Get your copy. Once again, don't ever take my word for nothing. I'm just sharing information that I learned. You know, we just gonna keep it funky for you. All information, facts and evidence. But here we go. I do not own the rights to this music. This is that King Bob Marley. We vibing to get it right. Let's go. We picking up right where we left off, and it goes. We was talking about the exploitation there, and the bourgeois has stripped of its halo every occupation hitherto honored and looked up to with reverent awe. It has converted the physician, the lawyer, the priest, the poet, the man of science into its paid wage laborers. The bourgeois has torn away from the family its sentimental veil. It has reduced the family relation to mere money relation. Damn shame. The bourgeois has disclosed how it came to pass that the brutal display of vigor in the Middle Ages, which reactionaries so much admire, found its fitting complement in the most slothful indolence. It has been the first to show what man's activity can bring about. It has accomplished wonders far surpassing Egyptian pyramids, Roman aqueducts, and Gothic cathedrals. It has conducted editions that put in the shade all former migrations of nations and crusades. The bourgeois cannot exist without constantly revolutionizing the instruments of production and thereby the relations of production and with them the whole relations of society. Excuse me. The conservation of the old modes of production in unaltered forms was, on the contrary, the first condition of existence for all earlier industrial classes. Constant revolutionizing of production, uninterrupted disturbance of all social conditions, everlasting uncertainty and agitation distinguish the bourgeois epochs from all earlier ones. All fixed, fast frozen relations with their train of ancient and vulnerable, or excuse me, venerable, venerable prejudices and opinions are swept away, and all new formed ones became or become antiquated before they can ossify. All that is solid is melts into air, and all that is holy is profaned, and man is at last compelled to face with sober senses his real conditions of life and his relations with his kind. The need of constantly expanding market for its products chases the bourgeois all over the whole surface of the globe. It must nestle everywhere, settle everywhere, establish connections everywhere. The bourgeois has, through its exploitation of the world market, given a cosmopolitan character to production and consumption in every country. The great charging of reactionaries, to the great charges of the reactionaries, it has drawn from under the feet of industry the national ground on which it stood. All old established national industries have been destroyed or are daily being destroyed. They are dislodged by new industries whose introduction, becomes a life and death question for all civilized nations. By industry that no longer work up indigenous raw material, but raw material drawn from the remote, remotest zones, industries whose products are consumed not only at home but in every quarter of the globe. In place of the old wants satisfied by the production of the country, we find new ones requiring their satisfaction, the products of distant lands and climes. In place of the old local and national seclusion and self-sufficiency, we have intercourse in every direction, universal interdependence of nations, and as in material, so also in intellectual production. The intellectual creation of individual nations become common property. National one-sidedness, and narrow-mindedness become more and more impossible and form the numerous national and local literatures. There arises a world of literature. Okay, we're gonna keep it going. The bourgeois, by the rapid improvement of all instruments of production, by the immensely facilitated means of communication, draws a nation, even the most barbarian, into civilization. The cheap prices of of its commodities are the heavy artillery with which it batters down all Chinese walls, with which it forces the barbarians' intensely obstinate hatred of foreigners to capitulate. It compels all nations, on pain of extinction, to adopt the bourgeois modes of production. It compels them to introduce what it calls civilization into their midst, i.e., to become bourgeois themselves. In a word, it creates a world after its own image. That sound familiar? In a word, it creates a world after its own image. Listen now, jewels being dropped. Go ahead, and pick them up. Pick them up. But we gonna stop right there. Learn with me slash pick up a book on all black everything. Just an extension. Go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, share button. If you like the content, appreciate you for checking it out. We coming back. Communist Manifesto. Peace and love all day.